Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome to my garden and welcome to my February front garden tour. I'm really excited about this tour because things are starting to wake up. You can see I have some hyacinth behind me. I have daffodils. I'm so excited. I have clematis. I have things that I want to show you finally. It feels like it's been a very long winter. I know there's a lot of you still under a couple feet of snow, so I hope that this garden tour can bring you all some joy, but I am just so ready for spring. I'm so ready to get out in the garden. I was out in my garden cleaning up a little bit for this garden tour this morning and it just felt glorious. It felt so good. So let me take you around and show you all what I have going on in my garden. I am wearing a t-shirt, but I do have goosebumps. So I might halfway go put on a little bit of a sweatshirt. We are supposed to have some rain over the next week, so I'm going to try and get my front garden tour and my back garden tour filmed today, because otherwise I'll be filming it in the rain probably, or like in between rainstorms. And that's okay. I mean, I'm happy to get water. I'm happy that it's rained so much this year because it's good for the drought that we have here in California, but I'm just ready for spring. All right, let's get started. Let's start out with my absolute most favorite part of my garden right now, and that is my Daffodil Border. This is my annual swoop. I always save this little garden bed right in front of my lawn for annuals and daffodils for early on in the season. So you can see they are blooming, and I am standing over here instead of standing over in the street like I usually do, because the winter sun is over there in the south. And so all the daffodils are like looking over there at the sun, trying to get some sunlight. So they all face this way. And I don't even care. I don't even care because I can be in my garden and I can look at their happy little faces. I kind of wish they were facing out so that everybody could see them. But you know what? I don't care. You can still see the yellow when you're in the street. And they're absolutely beautiful. So this is a blend from colorblends.com and it's called Spring Loaded. And it's a really neat blend. The past couple years, I've just done just the straight Dutch Master yellow bulbs. And I have this blend has those. They're right here. They're the big, beautiful yellow ones, and I absolutely love these. But this spring-loaded blend is supposed to have a bunch of different types of daffodils that will bloom. Oh my goodness, a ladybug. Look. Oh, I love it. It's spring, you guys. Okay. The spring-loaded blend has a bunch of different varieties that are supposed to bloom at different times. So basically it will extend the bloom time of the daffodils. So it starts really early, then it goes to mid-season, and it even blooms into late season. So I'm super excited about it. I think I'm thinking there are even still going to be daffodils blooming when it's time for me to plant my summer annuals. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant my summer annuals around the daffodils and just be happy that I have blooms, at that point. Right now, the main ones that are blooming, and now I don't know the official names of all of them, but we have this baby one right here, and you can see it's yellow petals and then the orange center. This is a little bit bigger one with the yellow petals and the orange center. And then of course I have the big one. I'm pretty sure this is called Dutch Master, but this is just the big classic yellow daffodil. So you can see it looks so pretty. I do have, here's a white one. Oh, so exciting. White one's starting to come out. And then you can see I have a lot more shoots that are going to start coming up, and that will be later on. So it's really just extending the bloom season out. So this is a really cool mix from Color Blends. I've never actually tried it before, but I'm excited to try it out this year, and I think it's really neat. So here is a view from this side. You can see most of them are facing the other way, and that's okay. That's kind of just part of it, So everybody kind of gets to see the back of their heads, the back of their little faces, but I can enjoy it when I'm up here working, and when we come out of our house, we can enjoy the daffodils. These are pointing out towards the front. And then you can see these over here. They're just the cutest little things. I just love it. I love daffodils because daffodils to me is like, all right, it's begun. You know, everything's begun. The gardening season has begun. It's time to get going. You know, we have daffodils that grow on the sides of our freeway because they naturalize here in California in the area that I live. And so it really brings so much joy to me. And I think that that's why it's one of my favorite flowers. Another one of my favorite flowers is this Snow Princess lobularia sweet alyssum hybrid from Proven Winners. I just think this plant is a crazy workhorse. I mean, it is February and look at this plant. It is like, okay, so like this is the normal size of a 4-inch pot. So I don't know, like 5 or 6 times the size already. And it's only February and it's just going to keep growing. I just love it. If you live in a high enough zone like I do, they really bloom almost year round. The only time they don't keep blooming is when you're in the hot, dead heat of the summer, and they'll kind of fade back a little bit. Mine didn't die for me last year. They just faded back. And then as soon as things cooled down a little bit, they came right back. But if you get the regular type of sweet alyssum, they will fade out way before these guys fade out. So I absolutely love this plant. I think it's such a good supporting role. And my plan for this garden bed was to have like a sea of the Snow Princess with the daffodils kind of poking their heads through. And I think, I mean, it's not even totally filled out yet, but I really think that it looks beautiful. Look at this one. There's a little white one. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, I just love it so much. They're just so pretty, you guys. I'm so happy. I'm so happy it's almost spring. Okay, then the other thing I wanted to point out was my Chinese fringe flower, or loropetalum. I love this plant because, again, it blooms at a time when a lot of things aren't blooming, and it brings this bright pop of pink that's absolutely beautiful. Look at all these buds on this one. I mean, it's amazing. Now, a lot of people ask me, are these in my garden? Are these the Proven Winners varieties, the jazz hands? And no, they're not. These were installed. These were planted before I moved in. So I honestly don't know their variety, but just based on how big they get, I don't think that they're the Proven Winners jazz hands variety. At our garden center, we have like a whole aisle dedicated to these type of plants just because they do so incredibly well in our area. They just absolutely thrive. They bloom at this time. They will bloom again later on in the season, but nowhere near as much as they bloom now. And then they have this gorgeous kind of burgundy foliage for the rest of the year. You can see this one is nice and red already. This one over here, I think needs some iron. So I am planning to add some iron to it when it's time to fertilize plants and everything. Like, look at that. I'm pretty sure this one needs some iron. These plants do like a little bit more acidic soil, and we have pretty neutral to slightly basic soil. So amending with like an acidic fertilizer, I think would be good if you do have these. All right, then over here, I have a bunch of anemones that I don't remember what variety this was that I planted. They are not blooming yet, but they should be blooming pretty soon. But you can see, I mean, it's like, I think it's like 11 o'clock right now. They're still pretty shaded. So it's not the most ideal place to plant things, but you know, it's the place I had. And I have Shasta daisies right here. I've cleaned them up and just waiting for them to bloom. This is called a breath of heaven. I love this plant. I'm thinking about doing a plant profile on this plant because I get asked about it quite often. So I do plant profile videos where I talk specifically about one plant and how much I like it. I've done one for loropetalum. I've done one for Helen von Stein Lambsier, and then you can't see it, but I've done one for Mystic Spire's blue salvia. Absolutely love them. Here is my iceberg rose. I cut it back. I sprayed it with dormant spray. It's all ready to go. Just waiting for it to start, come out of dormancy. I'm pretty sure it's already started because I'm pretty sure I took all the leaves off of it. I completely defoliated it. So I'm sure that's ready. I'll show you guys my Eden climbing rose over there. Oh, it is growing and it is so exciting. You will see I have tulip bulbs kind of poking their heads through. They're starting to get going. It's not quite ready yet. A little bit of mess there. This one's coming. this one's coming pretty good. Yeah, so they're kind of all over. It'll probably be my next garden tour. And if they bloom in between garden tours, I might just do like a bulb garden tour just to make sure you guys have a chance to see all my tulips growing. All right, so this area doesn't look like much right now. I'm actually very annoyed about this area. If you all have been watching me for a while, I think it was last spring. Yeah, I still had them last spring and the spring before. I had gladioli right here, a bunch of beautiful pink ones. I love them so much, but then I decided this is so front and center, and gladioli, I never know how to say it, plural, gladioli only bloom for a little while, at least here. And then you deal with that foliage for so long. So it was mainly foliage that I was looking at. So I decided to take them all out. However, they do naturalize here. So I have little seedlings of gladiolus bulbs everywhere, and they're so hard to pull out, you know, and I'm trying to get the corms here. You can see the little corms right here. There's so many of them here, and I knew when I was pulling them out that it was gonna be a problem. But yeah, it's a big problem. I have them absolutely everywhere, and every time I pull it like this, look, I'm not getting anything, so that means they're gonna grow again. So yeah, I'm pretty frustrated about that. I don't know how I'm going to take care of that because they're absolutely everywhere. Then making our way through my stepping stones, over here along the gate is where I have a bunch of sweet peas planted. And I'm super excited because they're looking really good. What I'm planning to do is I'm gonna put some fencing. I haven't decided if I'm just gonna weave twine through here for them to grow on, or if I'm gonna put some of my Hortonova netting. Unfortunately, the Hortonova netting is white, so I don't think it's gonna look fantastic if I have white netting on here. I wish I could find some black netting. I'll have to look at the store, but you can see these sweet peas. These are doing really well. I have other ones in my cut flower garden over there that are not doing as well, but I really did torture my sweet peas seedlings this year. It was just late for me to get them in. They were in the trays for way too long. I just tortured them this year. So I'm super happy to see these doing really, really well. And I think now that there's going to be a little bit more warmth after the rainstorm that we have next week, I think that they're going to start growing absolutely beautifully. You can see over here, right here, these sticks right here. This is my Summerific Hibiscus, and this one I cut back actually just this morning. So about this time, if you live in my zone, about February, you want to cut them back, and you really want to cut them back to about 6 inches is what they say, but I usually just kind of go really close to the ground. And then these will start growing very late in the season, and then it'll pop up and have those beautiful, beautiful blooms. So very excited about that. Another view of my Chinese fringe flower. Absolutely love it. And then making my way this way, you can see this is the other sweet Alyssum. This is like just the generic kind, and you can see the difference, right? This between the Snow Princess lobularia, this is like suffering. Like it's not looking good. It's still alive, right? But it's nowhere near blooming, and it's just not looking as good. And then the Snow Princess is just going crazy. So you can kind of see the difference. Here is one of my limelights. It has not broken dormancy yet. It's still probably too early for that. It is too early for that, but I'm excited about it. Coming over this way, you can see I have the Bright Lights Pink African Daisy, or Osteospermum. I planted this last year, I think. It was one plant, doesn't have any drip to it, and it's just going crazy. I would say the only thing I don't love about it is it's stretching. See right here? So I planted it right behind this Chinese fringe flower right here. Obviously wasn't the smartest place to put it, just based on its bloom time and the way that the place that the sun is this time of year. So definitely my fault, but the blooms look beautiful. And then you can see all my foxgloves. So this one, all the bigger looking ones are the ones from last year. This is, do you see the, hummingbird? I don't even know what it was going for. Probably something for a nest or something. I don't know. I love it. Okay, so the big ones here are Foxglove from last year, and they are the Camelot mix, and the Camelot mix will bloom the first year. So I actually don't know what happens to the Camelot mix second year. I have heard from people that they will keep blooming, so I'm assuming these are going to bloom. I just don't know how vigorously they are going to bloom. But I have gone through and I have planted smaller seedlings, ones that I planted this year, so I know that those will bloom. So I'm really excited. I love having foxgloves in my garden. I think that they're so beautiful. They cannot handle full sun here in zone 9B. Just in case any of you guys are wondering, I've tried putting these like in my cut flower garden that's absolutely full sun, and it's just too much for them. They just fry. So you have to put them in a spot that's a little bit protected. Right over here, the Crepe Myrtle tree kind of protects them from the hot afternoon sun. And then I have a bunch of them over here in my Crepe Myrtle garden bed. And again, they're protected from the hot afternoon sun. Okay, so then for my Crepe Myrtle garden bed, think of this as kind of a before shot, because my family and I went to the garden center this past week and we got a bunch of plants for this garden bed. I'm super excited about it. We have the cal lilies. These are the white cal lilies right here. They obviously are doing fantastic here. So I got 3 more of them to kind of put, to kind of even out, because right now it's kind of lopsided. There's only 2 over here. So I want to put a couple more of the cal lilies kind of spread around over there. Then we got some heliotrope that I want to put in this garden bed. We got some creeping jenny that I want to put in this garden bed, and a gorgeous hellebore. It's sitting over there, so I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So this garden bed is going to be changing a little bit. Honestly, I'm just going to be adding to it because I took a lot out the end of last year. You can see I do have a lot of tulip bulbs coming up. They're kind of all over the place. So again, I will just kind of work around them. But this is the big rock that I always talk about. I had lantana planted right here last year and the year before that. The purple lantana was beautiful, but it was a little bit shaded because of the tree. And then it got so big that it would cover this rock. And I just think this rock needs to be shown off because I don't know, it's like hardscape that's added in, to the garden. So I really want to show it off. So I bought the creeping jenny ground cover right here to kind of go around it. And I probably will plant a couple small plants, maybe like some supertunias. Oh, you know what would be really beautiful? The supertunia blue skies, because those ones do a little bit better in a little bit more shade. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do supertunia blue sky right here with the creeping jenny kind of underplanted. Oh, that'll be beautiful. Very excited about that. All right, then you can see I have my geranium. It's starting to come. It's not the best place for them because they kind of like a little bit more sun, but I don't know. I don't really want to move them right now, so I'll leave that there. Oh, the other plant that I got from the garden center was Angel Wings Senecio, which I've actually never planted before, but I hear really good things about that plant, and I think I'm going to do it kind of like right here. This is where I had Dusty Miller last year. I ended up taking it out because it was getting a little too woody, so I wanted to plant something else that's silver right there. And then these, I've already cut them back. These are my Mystic Spires Blue Salvia. Absolutely love these plants. They're so fantastic. Okay, then moving this way, look at all these daffodils I have. These are replete daffodils, I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure I planted a bunch of replete daffodils last year. They didn't come up very well for me last year, so I kind of thought they were just kind of whatever. But now, you guys, I've completely forgotten what I did last year. I don't even remember. So these all came up along with tulips. I don't think I planted any tulips here. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. So this whole area is going to be a nice big surprise when things start blooming. Really excited about it. I do not remember planting this. I'm pretty sure I planted replete daffodils here, but I thought I took them all out when I was redoing this garden bed, but yeah, I guess not. All right, then let's take a look at my cut flower garden. Oh, I just love it so much. I'm so happy we put these tiers in. It just makes all the difference in the world. It is garbage day, so that's why the garbage cans are out. And actually the garbage trucks keep driving by back and forth, so I keep having to stop so I can let the garbage truck go by. But I did want to show you all I feel like it's a tradition now that I always show the first anemone, and I just get so excited about it because it's just like the daffodils. It's just so exciting. It's such a tiny little thing. This is the black eye anemone. There's another one over there. You can see right there. And then I have a bunch of ranunculus planted here, and I'm so excited about it. So anemones and ranunculus right here. Then I have a bunch of tulips, a bunch of different kinds. Bunch of tulips over here, bunch of daffodils over here. Surprisingly, the daffodils are kind of behind the tulips. This is the citrus sorbet mix, and I'm pretty sure they're from Eden Brothers, these daffodils right here. So I'm excited to see them come up. Over here on this side, I have my, why am I blanking on the name of these? We all know these. Paperwhites. I have paperwhites right here. These were just the ones that were left over from my Christmas gifts that I gave to my neighbors. So I just had some leftover bulbs. So I just threw them out here. They are blooming like crazy in my backyard. I will show you guys in my backyard tour. That looks like a tulip, and I have no idea. That must have been left over from before. I don't know. And then here are my sweet peas. They are not looking very good. Well, some of them look good. This one died. This one looks good. This one looks good. I don't know. I don't think they look great, and I'm not totally sure why. Probably because I tortured them to within an inch of their life, but some of them are doing well. So yeah. All right, here comes the truck again. I will be right back. Okay, so coming up into the front porch area, you can see the beautifulness. This is my Mrs. Tingley Camellia. I love this plant so much. I was talking about in a video earlier this week when I planted my Gertrude Jekyll climbing rose in the backyard, that rose is going to mean a lot to me because Jason got it for Valentine's Day, and I really appreciate the name because she's like the saint of gardening, you know, one of the saints of gardening, I should say. I kind of feel the same way about Mrs. Tingley. I actually don't know the history behind this name. I'll have to look that up. But this plant I did get for my birthday from my family a couple years ago, and it just brings me so much joy. I just love it so much, you guys. I just think it's one of the most beautiful plants that there are, absolutely hands down. So I did clean out my window box. I had all the magnolia leaves and the cyclamen here from my holiday decor. You can see I still have these black olive heuchera that are doing very, very well. Lots of new growth. The cyclamen did not do well at all, and I think I know why. We had so much rain that I just completely turned off my drip system. Just completely turned it off. And then I forgot that means that these guys, really all of these guys, aren't going to get any water because they are covered, you know, and I just didn't think about it until it was too late, and then they were already struggling, and it was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. So I took most of them out. These are doing okay, but I think that's because they get a lot of runoff from the sidewalk and stuff like that, so they got enough water. Yeah, so here's my front porch. I'm really annoyed about my front porch. I want to decorate it. So I'm putting it on my list next week, you know, my schedule, because I keep coming through here and I just think it looks so plain and there's just nothing interesting going on for my front porch. So if any of you have any good ideas for decorating the front porch, what I was thinking is that I'm going to do a shade planter right there with a bunch of shade plants and then actually connect drip to bring it over there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I also think that I'm going to drill a hole into this ceramic pot. You can see it doesn't have a hole in it right now. This is an antique ceramic pot that I got from the antique store. So I feel bad about drilling a hole in it, but I do have a neighbor that has one of them and she has it in her backyard, and she obviously uses it so much more than I use it because she has a hole in it. So I am going to do that. I hope I don't break it. You know, it definitely scares me, but I think I'll just love it and use it so much more if it does have a drainage hole in it. Okay, so front porch, I have to do something. I don't know, I have to do something. Here are the Hellebores. Look at how beautiful. This is an old one. It's all green. Oh, I just love it. What is this called? Fire and ice? No, ice and roses. Ice and Roses White. HGC Ice and Roses White. I don't know what HGC means. It's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful plant. I can't wait to get it in the ground, and these will last for so long for us here. The blooms will. And when I bought this at the garden center, I went to one of my local green acres. I actually had 2 people stop me and ask me where I found that. You know, they saw it in my cart and they said, "Where did you find that?" And I showed them where I found it. So you know, when that happens, you know it's a good plant. So I'm so excited to get this in the ground. I'm gonna put this in my Crepe Myrtle garden bed, and it's just so pretty. Here is my Wichita Blue Juniper. It is definitely getting some new growth on it, which is very exciting. I love this plant. The one in my backyard is looking so good as well. I just love it so much. It's such a beautiful pop of silvery blue. I do see some cobwebs on it, but underneath there, I have some hyacinth. These are the Will and Kate mix. And they're supposed to have purple and pink, but I don't see any purple. Maybe this one will come up as purple. I planted these last year, actually 2 falls ago, right? And I didn't know if they would naturalize and come back, and they did, obviously, which is really, really great. So they're beautiful. I'm not totally experienced with hyacinths, but I think that they're beautiful, and I would like to plant more right here. Okay, then we have my Ivy Espalier. I think that's looking really good right now. And then slowly panning over here, I've got more tulips poking up here. So I'm just anxiously awaiting all of these to start coming. It's just, you know, it's just a waiting game for a lot of this stuff. Hopefully you guys can see because the shade is like right there. All right, let's move out this way. Here's the big thing I wanted to show you. I just noticed this right before I started filming. This is my Clematis. Clematis armandii Snowdrift. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll put it on the screen if it's different. It smells so incredibly good. Look at these blooms here. They're so beautiful. And I feel so bad about this plant because I had to take it all down off of its wire so that we could paint the fence, because we painted the fence last summer, fall. And then it was all entwined on itself. And so I couldn't figure out how to get it back up on the fence. So all I did is I just threw it over the fence. I feel really bad about that, but it's so beautiful. It's just so incredibly beautiful, and especially over here because it gets the morning sun. I'm gonna have to come and just take a funky picture back here. This is our storage area. You know, we have our shed. You can see we've dug out a bunch of the rocks so that we can grind out the stump to the birch tree that we just got removed. So we have a lot of things going on right now, but I think we can all enjoy the beautiful blooms on this Clematis. It's just so gorgeous. I love this plant. I especially love this plant because I grew it from a cutting. Like, I'm not even kidding. The cutting was like here to here. That's how big the cutting was. I got it from my neighbor. One day I'll have to walk down and I'll have to video his Clematis armandii. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I grew it from a cutting. It was like when I first started gardening in this garden, and I just love it. I just love it so much. And it's just so happy to see, you know, it's another one of those spring plants. So the main view is over here in the side yard, but you can see some of it over here, and it looks really pretty. Very happy with it. And then walking down this way, you can see my arch. This is from Kinsman Garden Supply. These are my Eden climbing roses. I am so excited because they are breaking dormancy. They are starting to grow. I haven't even fertilized them yet. I should be fertilizing them pretty soon, I think. I'm going to try the alfalfa mix and the Solpo Mag mix. I've heard that that's a really good combination to give them about a month after you prune them back. So I pruned these in January. It's February now, so it's time to give them a little bit of a feeding and see how they do. But you can see all the new growth. I'm so excited. These are 1 year and a couple months old. So this is really like the second growing season. So, you know, they haven't completely reached the top yet, but I have a feeling they might this year because they're really, really happy roses. And I think that they'll grow really fast. So excited about that. There's a good before shot of it, and we'll see how they do over the next month. Here I have a tutor that I took the plumbago out. I had a plumbago growing on it. It was very pretty, but it was just almost too much for this space, and I really wanted to see this tutor a little bit more. So I don't know what to put here. I have no idea, but one of you, Lena, she actually sent me some what is it called? Butterfly pea. It's a type of Ipomoea, butterfly pea seeds or something. And I thought that that might be a good annual to grow on this. So I have to get them out. They're in my freezer right now. So I have to get them out and research them and start growing them. But I'm thinking that I might go with that until I can decide, you know, like a perennial vine to start growing on there. Here we have a bunch of Alliums, whole bunch of different varieties. They are growing beautifully, beautifully. I don't know when they're going to bloom. I hope it will be May for the garden tour because won't that be gorgeous? But we will just see. All right, more of a mess over here. This is from the tree, the other birch tree that we had removed this past month. And you can see we're kind of digging it out again so that we can grind the stump out. I think it'll be good. My thought, I don't know, I have to think about it, but I was thinking about doing a weeping cherry tree right there. Wouldn't that be so pretty? So yeah, again, everything is just kind of like, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just kind of thinking about everything. I have more sweet peas over here. These are the Elegance mixed sweet peas. So those guys are doing really well. Again, I have to put some wire up so that they can start growing up the tree, or excuse me, the fence. You guys remember when I planted this peony? So, Bartzilla? I think that that's what it is. It's a gorgeous yellow color. My neighbors right over there, their mother passed away and she had like this massive peony in her garden. They dug it up and they brought it to me because they didn't think that they could grow it. So I didn't give them any promises, but so far it is looking fantastic. And I think it's really liking this area. I mean, I have high hopes for this peony as compared to my other peonies that are, I mean, they're just struggling. But I bought really, really small ones. The only one that I think is doing really well is this one. You can see I have a couple eyes there. This one is, I don't know. You guys read that? I need to work on my labeling. That says nothing. So that is a waste. It's either Alexander Fleming or sorbet something. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm so sorry, you guys. Over here is our fairy garden. It's looking gorgeous. It does need a little bit of water, I think. Yeah, so it's just looking pretty. A lot of really early spring flowers that the girls and I did. They did a little checkerboard pattern of like a grassy area for the fairies. I just think it's so cute. I just think it's so beautiful. And then we were so disappointed because we were at the garden center and they got a whole new shipment of a whole bunch of different fairies in for spring. So there's even more really fun fairies, you know, and so I think I might surprise them and go grab some of those and see how they do. All right. And then we have the oak tree garden bed underneath my oak tree, my beautiful oak tree that has not leafed out yet. Everything's doing really well. This is like the most natural of my garden beds. You can see my Naked Lady Amaryllis. I think I told you guys about these in my last garden tour, but basically the foliage comes out now at this time, then the foliage will die back and go away, and then the bloom stalks will come out a little bit later in the summer, which I had no idea until about a month ago. That's how they did it. But now that I know, I just think that that's so cool. And I feel bad because I know I took out a ton of them, but you can see they're naturalizing. I'm pretty sure these might be the wild onions though. Well, anyway, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I do get weeds in this area pretty bad, so I do have to go through and weed this area quite often, but that's okay. That's no big deal. There's a buddleia right there. That's a Pugster Blue Buddleia. And yeah, I think everything's looking really good. Again, really, really natural in this area, which I'm happy about. I do have my plumbago here. They're all surviving. They were transplanted last year. They all look really good. They haven't started really putting on a lot of growth yet, and they all look like they need some water actually. So I will be working on that. Okay, then the last thing I wanted to show you all is the Oklahoma Redbud. I should have talked about this when I was over here before. It has not started leafing out yet, but it is looking like it's starting to get some little growth points, buds. This is a brand new tree to me. I planted this end of last summer, so it's supposed to have absolutely beautiful blossoms come, pretty soon, I think. So we will see how it does. We will be keeping a close eye, but this is another one that as soon as it starts blooming, like as soon as it blooms out, I'm just gonna grab my camera and start recording because I want to show you all so much. I want to get it on film and see what how beautiful it is, and I can't wait. It should start getting, I'm trying to think, let me check. It will get 25 feet tall, so it will be pretty tall in this area. Look how beautiful the sky looks right now. It's just gorgeous. So this one will get 25 feet tall once it grows to full size. So it will be kind of like it'll be like a mirror to the Crepe Myrtle tree. It won't get as tall as the Crepe Myrtle tree, but it will be pretty tall, and it will, I think, help take the place because we had the birch trees right here and they were so beautiful, and they kind of balanced out both sides of my house with the Crepe Myrtle tree and then the birch trees over there. Now that those are gone, I really want this to start growing so that I can get a little bit more balance to my house, even though it's a ranch home, so my house is imbalanced anyway, which is one thing I don't love about ranch homes, but it is what it is. Every home in California, I feel like, is a ranch home, or a huge portion of them. So I wish, one thing grass is always greener on the other side. I always wish I had one of those entrances that were equal on either side, so that I could decorate it with the pots and the topiaries on either side of the front door. And, that's okay. You gotta love what you have, right? All right, everyone. So that is it for my February front garden tour. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did being out here and just seeing the blooms. It just makes me so, so very excited. I cannot wait for this gardening season because I think my garden is going to be amazing. I am getting more annuals from proven winners this year, and I have big plans for how my gardens are going to look. So I can't wait to show it off to all of you. I am in a garden tour for the Pence Gallery here in Davis in May. So if you guys live in the area, please stop by. It's on May 7th. I hope you can come. First I have to take my cat to the vet, and then right after that, I'm going to go film my back garden tour because we do have rain coming for like the next 5 or 6 days. So I need to get the February back garden tour video out before the end of February. So I just need to film it today. So I will be filming that today, but you guys won't see it until next week. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you guys are starting to see signs of spring yourself in your own garden, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.